Nigeria has so many local languages aside the lingua franca, English, officially used for transactions. However, the deaf community also have a means of communication, which is the sign language. This brings us to its relevance today, the recognition by the international community. Today is the International Sign Language Day, commemorated every 23rd of September. But before we go into the discussion proper, focusing on the importance of sign language, let's bring you reports making the round. I am Abdullah Hajia. You're welcome. Now, the National Population Commission has continued to reach out to relevant stakeholders in anticipation of the rescheduled National Population Census. This time, it took advocacy visit to the Nigerian Army Headquarters Garrison, Mogadishu and Sokoro, soliciting partnership. Charity Zaka has to report.
With preparation still on course for the rescheduled National Population Census, the FCT National Population Commission, led by the Federal Commissioner, explains the need for a logistics security committee, which requires partnership with the Nigerian Army Headquarters Garrison for security backup.
The aim of coming here today is to formally inform you, seek your consent, cooperation and collaboration to help to serve on the committee. The aim of why we want you on the committee is to give us security backup, support us in the area of your discipline.
Commander Army Headquarters Garrison Mogadishu Cantonment responds with a commitment to giving necessary support with the right engagement.
One of the major pillars of the Chief of Army Staff is in the area of cooperation with relevant agencies. So it is a given that whatever you need to do, whatever your commission needs to do that require our support, you will have it 100%. So I want to assure you that now.
With a wide range of what a country stands to gain from conducting a census, the Commission is hopeful of a fruitful outcome with preparations put in place. Charity Zaka, NTA News.
More rural communities in the Abuja Municipal Area Council have benefited from the resolve of AMAC Chairman Christopher Zakame Kalungu not to leave any word out of his infrastructure transformation. AMAC Chairman reiterates his determination to close the yearning gap in rural development. During his data visit, during the continuation of the project tour and inspection in Zone B and C of the Council, Gideon Yohana reports that 18 projects across communities were in the highlights.
Starting with the vocational training and youth empowerment skill acquisition at Jiwa, where mammoths of vibrant youth are being taught the art of furniture making, the AMAC chairman had his monitoring team commended success it has recorded so far. It was all smiles and jubilations in communities where projects have been completed and some near completion, as the AMAC chairman and his monitoring team inspect construction and dualization of rural infrastructure being executed by his administration. In Gwagwa, the community benefited road and solar street light, a commitment that was replicated in Zona community, where 10,000 solar-powered borehole was constructed. The monitoring and evaluation team was also at Karimo Idugbagi, where a 2.3-kilometer road network was constructed, while Jiyita community of Jiwagbagwa joined the list of benefiting communities as they smiled at the installation of a 500 kVA by 33 transformer. Kagini, Ongon Akokori, amongst others, were not left out of the AMAC chairman intervention projects.
Please, you need to give way for development. If the community asks you to remove this attachment, remove it. so that I will give you up here.
When you open shop, the doors is you enter your shop. Today, no more doors again. But Honorable, I appreciate you.
Showing my appreciation to you. God will bless you. God will bless your family.
Considering the investment of government in projects, the AMAC chairman calls on community leaders, ward heads and commuters to care for these projects through proper maintenance so that vandals don't cut away with them, thereby leaving them in the bad state they once lived before his administration's intervention. In Abuja, Gideon Yohana, NTA News.
23rd September every year has been set aside to commemorate the International Sign Language Day. It is a day recognized by the United Nations to celebrate people with hearing impairments or the deaf community, or with speech impairments. Odirioburu Arutere tells us more on the significance of the Sign Language Day.
Language is said to be the vehicle for communication in every community. There are different types of languages all over the world. Among them is the sign language. Sign language is a unique way of communication through the use of signs and gestures among the deaf community. The declaration of 23rd September annually as Sign Language Day by the United Nations in 2018 was to support and protect the linguistic identity and cultural diversity of all deaf people and other sign language interpreters.
There are different dialects in sign language. So it depends on their location. So people in the East have their own special kind of sign language, different from people from the North. So the geographical area would define the kind of sign language they use. But the one that is mainly used in Nigeria by all, that is understood by all deaf in Nigeria, is Nigerian Sign Language.
The National President, Deaf Women Association of Nigeria, Helen Peyoku Alase, calls for the inclusion of sign language into the Nigerian school curriculum in order to break the long-existing communication barriers.
Inclusive society where sign language can be used, and also affirming the fact that sign language ought to be placed in the same level as every other language like English, Hausa, Yoruba, Hausa, or whatever language.
Some of the issues bothering the deaf community are the absence of sign language interpreters in major places like hospitals, schools, police stations, and the courts. The 2023 theme for World Sign Language Day is a world where deaf people everywhere can sign anywhere. In Abuja, Odiri Ogboru, Arutere, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Odiri, for that background report. And joining me now in the studio is Akimpelumi Teniola. He's a member of the deaf community who is also with the Ministry of Justice. And on the background for the interpretation is Timothy Tinat Gwaza. Now, Akin, you're welcome to Saturday Discourse. Thank you so much. All right, well, let's begin this way. How has this sign language been able to improve, communication for the deaf community?
Thank you so much. It's a very good question and a very interesting question. You see, as persons who are deaf people, you know, even in the area of education, sign language has been very, very important because we need to have access to school and proper education. Without sign language, we will not be able to have access to educational material. So it's very important. So it's helped us to have full inclusion in life. So even at the university level, as I attended university and I studied guidance and counseling in university. And now I work with the Ministry of Justice. How did I get all the information for my graduates? Through sign language. How do I come into the studio, communicate with you? It's through sign language. In the area of business, for us to be able to get employed, have skills as hairdressers, drivers, so many other things that you can think of in the society. It's all through sign language. So we have to survive. We have to eat. So with sign language, we have to do that. We have to gestorize for people to be able to understand. Sometimes we meet hearing people and we talk with them and we communicate with them. Sometimes, this communication is very, very key for human life. So at least you can imagine you go to school and without maybe English language. So how do we get access to school as English language is one of part of our lingua franca? So it's important that we get some language.
Okay, well, I can follow me. I want to agree with you that you must survive and you have to survive. Now, oftentimes we know there are families who have members who are parts of the deaf community. Communication is not been easy. So how can these family members be able to communicate with such person in the family?
Thank you so much. It's very difficult to say, but as long as that deaf child is a member of that family and he needs to